Good morning from the Divine Fellowship Home Edition.
Home edition. Good
Home
morning.
edition.
Jesus is just all right with me.
No, no,
Oh,
no, no.
yeah.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. That's our opening song for people that have never seen the church or anything. We miss so much. We miss all of our music, everything we do. You know, it's always pretty much non-secular music. You know, some rock and roll, current hits, appropriate songs for whatever we're talking about at the time. So always kind of fun.
Yeah,
And
fun.
We miss that.
We miss it.
Even in our video, I mean, old videos on YouTube, you know, all that's missing. So you're definitely missing.
Missing. Well, we're missing you too.
I know.
We're
Yeah.
missing the camaraderie and just the joy that we share when we get
Hugs.
to church. Hugs. Mhm.
Hugs.
Yeah.
Hugs,
Air hugs. So I wanted to show before we all get online, I wanted to show this crystal. Ooh, it's heavy.
It's one of mine.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is.
It's one of mine.
Oh.
It's ours.
Oh.
I didn't make you like sparkly ones.
But it's natural.
They're all natural, Phil.
Well, but you like the cut ones and the polished, and this one is just, that's the way it came out.
Yeah, I like it.
I like those.
It's called apophyllite with stilbite. There we
Yeah.
go. Oh,
Yeah.
isn't that pretty?
Ooh.
Ooh.
Isn't that pretty?
The energy of the apophyllite is really high vibration. So I wanted to bring that today because we're going to talk about some higher vibration stuff. And it's good to have that vibrations going for us in that regard. So I love that. Love that.
Yeah.
Apophyllite.
So
check it out.
we'll start out and get these out of the way because these are
He's warned me these are really bad.
well these are 7-year-old jokes. I mean, like 7-year-old, little
Well, some of
7-year-old.
us have
So
attitudes of 7-year-olds.
well, I know. But okay. So how did the frozen chicken cross the road? In a shopping bag. We both did it at the same time. What do you call a rabbit with fleas? Bugs Bunny. If athletes get athlete's foot, what do astronauts get? Oh, help. Sorry. Mistletoe. Oh, I know. And
Make it stop.
and last and it's definitely the least. I almost didn't do it, but I'm gonna do it anyway.
He knows no restraint.
I know. Why can't you hear a pterodactyl going to the bathroom? Because the P is silent. I know. Pterodactyl's a weird word. It's odd, but it does start with a P. So
PT.
anyway, P.
Pterodactyl.
Pterodactyl, which like the cranes out at Bateman Island sound like you would think a pterodactyl might sound like.
They sound very,
They sound ominous,
yes, creepy.
creepy. Sure. We have a couple patron saints by the name of John Lennon and George Carlin. And John said, words are flying out like endless rain into a paper cup. They slither while they pass. They slip across the universe.
Slithering words.
Slithering universe. Yeah. And George, this is what, okay, I'm just going to do it. I used to be Irish Catholic. Now I'm an American. You know, you grow. How in one sentence I offended a huge population of Christians throughout the world. It's fun. Well, I was born Roman Catholic. I mean, I went to church 6 days a week, Catholic school, the whole 9 yards. Yeah, you know. So, okay.
He's still recovering.
I am. Why do toasters always have a setting that burns the toast to a horrible crisp, which no decent human being would ever eat? Why?
Well, my mother was terrific at this. You could turn the toaster down, she'd turn it back up, burn the toast, and then scrape it. And so there are crumbs in the butter, crumbs in the sink, every time. She
It's
just
true.
had to burn the toast.
It
Had
is
to.
true.
It
It's
was
true.
just, burnt toast was,
If Jimmy cracks corn and no one cares, why is there a stupid song about him?
that's always been a mystery.
Yeah. And if the professor on Gilligan's Island can make a radio out of a coconut, why can't he fix a hole in the boat?
Good question.
I don't know. These are, I'm not going to read all this stuff. Half a loaf is better than none. Brevity is the soul of wit. I should have stopped a long time
Stop
ago.
there.
I should have stopped. Yeah. Oh, give us the man who sings at his work. That's nice. I'm going to stop right there because I've got too much stuff here.
See that or whistle while you work.
A group of flamingos is called a pat.
A pat?
A
P-A-T?
P-A-T. A group of frogs is called an army. A group of rhinoceros is called a crash.
Yeah.
A group of kangaroos is called a mob. A group of apes is called a shrewdness. A group of cats is called a clutter. I don't know that. Clutter? Really?
No, that's not.
It says called clutter.
Well, they're wrong.
What is
And
it?
the group of apes is not called shrewdness, it's called a congress.
Are you saying that they printed this inaccurately?
According to Janice, they did.
Well,
yeah.
prying minds, I'm going to have to find out who's correct here. A group of larks is called an exaltation. A group of owls is called a parliament. And a group of ravens is called a murder. I know that's true.
Murder of crows.
I gotta find that out. I'm going to check up on you.
Please do.
Okay. Things that make
Question
you go,
everything. Question everything.
it's true.
Just
It is
because it's
true.
written doesn't make it true. Just because I say it doesn't make it true.
It's true.
Question everything.
It's true. All that we know is nothing. We are merely crammed waste paper baskets, unless we are in touch with that which laughs at all our knowing. The greater the ignorance, the greater the dogmatism. The knowledge of the world is only to be acquired in the world, not in a closet. Anything else going on I should know about? This is the time where, I asked the people in the congregation, any parties I should know about? Any things I think I really
Should
know,
attend.
should
No,
attend? Yeah.
you don't attend anything. Social distancing.
I know.
We're trying to teach our dogs social distancing.
I've got my 50th class reunion coming up too, and at least so far they're thinking about still doing that. But gosh, I'm not going to do all of these. I am going to do this because I like this one. Okay,
Okay.
6 little stories with lots of meanings. Okay. Once all the villagers decided to pray for rain. On the day of prayer, all the people gathered, but only one boy came with an umbrella. That's faith. When you throw babies in the air, they laugh because they know you'll catch them. That is trust.
True.
Every night we go to bed without any assurance of being alive in the morning, but still we set the alarms to wake up. That is hope. We plan big things for tomorrow in spite of zero knowledge of the future. That is confidence. We see the world suffering, but still we get married and have children. That is love. On an old man's shirt was a written sentence. I'm not 80 years old. I'm sweet 16 with 64 years of experience. That's attitude. Have a happy day. Live your life with these 6 stories, remembering good friends are the rare jewels of life, difficult to find and impossible to replace.
You are a rare gem.
Thank you. I will leave it at this point.
You
Hopefully
will?
everyone's all signed in. Yeah, Cheryl's there and Scott. Hi, Scott, down in Florida. Shannon and Brock and Sandy and Dan and I know that Myrna and there's all kinds of other people there too. So
Hey, hi.
hi, I'm out of here.
He's out of here.
I think
For
the dog.
now.
Oh, the dog assumed the position. She actually originally sat on the couch as soon as we came in here, and now she's on the floor
On the
behind
floor,
Jan.
asleep.
So if you hear something or see something behind you, that's what's going on.
That's what's going on. I'm going to change. No, I'm going to just say this. Okay. Huh? What?
Get closer like you just did.
Get closer? Okay. Don't want to get too close. So I have lots to tell you today and hope that, did you need something?
My coffee.
Your coffee. He's got to have his coffee. Lots to share with you today. So hopefully this will be a blessing to you. On Thursday of this week is the date that corresponds to Jesus' ascension. So, in other words, he ascended 40 days after Easter, after he was crucified and he rose. He walked around on the earth and visited with his apostles and did some really way cool stuff. And then on this day, he ascended. And I want to talk to you about that. First of all, let me share with you in Mark 16, verse 19. And when the Lord Jesus had spoken to them, he was received up into heaven and sat down at the right hand of God. And then in Acts, it gives us the same description of what happened. So in verse 9, it says, and after these things, he's talking about he had visited with his apostles and gave them information, all that sort of thing. They asked him, you got to give the apostles some credit here. I mean, they were hilarious. I'm not sure if well, I think it's funny because they said, okay, when are you going to bring the kingdom? When are you going to take over? You are restoring the kingdom to Israel, right? So they were expecting a political overturning of the Roman Empire and letting the Jews reign supreme. And that wasn't the plan. The plan was for us to have the kingdom within, and the kingdom being everywhere, and we were self-rule. But anyway, I thought that was hilarious. So then after these things, he was lifted up while they were looking on, and a cloud received him out of their sight. So what I want to talk to you about is this ascension process. This is a big deal, I think. None of us have done it, at least not yet. The ascension is about being able to let go of all of this earthly stuff. Now, when Jesus ascended, his apostles weren't perfect, and he let them go. He didn't try to fix them. He didn't try to change them. He didn't try to make himself ruler over the whole world. He didn't change the political structure. There were still poor people around. There was still hate and violence. He didn't try to fix that. What he did was instill within us this quest for innocence with applied awareness and the ability to perceive things from this perspective. And as he is this prime example of being able to perceive things from this perspective, he could see things weren't perfect, but he didn't have to fix it. He didn't have to change it. He didn't have to make somebody fall in line with his thinking. He could allow it to be and trust the process of the heart in finding its way. And the ones that are ready and the ones that are open, the ones that are healing will find the way. And the ones that aren't won't yet. And it's all okay. And I think we can take that lesson and apply it to our lives, because there's so many times people in our world, we want to fix them. And that's not the ascension path. That's not our path to ascension. Sometimes we want to change things. There should be no poverty in the world. There should be no hate in the world. Well, all things, I would love that too. But rather than anguishing about that, we can do our part. If each person does one's own part to that healing, then that energy is shifted. But begrudging it and bemoaning it and being angry about it is not the ascension path. The ascension path is this path of clarity where there's innocence, where there's no shame, no blame on oneself or on anyone else. Now, with that said, there's responsibility. And there's a responsibility for keeping clear boundaries. This is not just, oh, la, 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 everything's just fine. This means you get to have clear boundaries. I get to have clear boundaries. We were talking the last couple of times together last Wednesday and last Sunday about anger and how anger is this trigger point saying we're not okay, that something's not okay. This is not giving us permission to vent and spew on someone, but it's letting us know that when that happens, there's something amiss and we get to take a look at it. And when we take a look at it with this sense of innocence and this sense of expanded awareness, we look at it in a different way. We look at it in a different light. And when we look at it in that light, then we can grow from it. We can heal from it. And if someone has stepped over a boundary and has made us angry, we get to look at the boundary we set. Did we set an unclear boundary? You know, if Phil does something that I don't like, if I've never told him that I didn't like it, who's to blame? He's not a mind reader. We're pretty connected. And we get a lot of stuff subconsciously between each other. But he's not a mind reader. And if I haven't said, Phil, I really prefer this instead of that, there's no way for him to know that. And it's my responsibility, my opportunity for choice to set a clear boundary and let my wishes and needs and likes and dislikes and preferences be known. And then he has the right to choose to acknowledge that or not. I can't fix him or change him or make him do it my way. But I can put my hopes and dreams out there, my preferences, and generally speaking, if it's within his power, he'll honor those. And that's what kindness and that's what love does. That's what compassion does. If I set a boundary and Phil or somebody else doesn't respond to that, I clarify that boundary. Had to do this with a family member not too long ago. Had to set a boundary and thought it was clear, and then the next time it wasn't clear and I had to set the boundary again. Fortunately, this person said, well, help me understand that. I don't understand what you're saying. So I explained a little bit further, and then that boundary has been respected ever since. So there was clarity between the two of us. But if I hadn't set the boundary, I could get angry that they were that way, that they were treating me that way, or they were talking that way. They're being frustrated about something and dumping it on me. That if I allowed that, it's not their fault. So I have accountability here, and with that accountability is responsibility. But I'm only accountable for me. I'm not accountable for what somebody else does or how they respond. But I can be accountable with kindness and allow myself to be clear in a way that it is a blessing to me and others. And if I'm clear and a blessing to myself and others, they can be clear. More than once, I have prayed for a certain circumstance that I was really upset about, and I wanted them to change. They should do it differently. But as I prayed for myself and I prayed for peace about that situation, lo and behold, things shifted. Power of prayer is powerful. We forget. We think we should have influence and make them change, make them think the way I do, make them act the way I like. When I could just be okay with me, be at peace with me, honor where I am, allow them to be where they are, and that creates this ascension energy, this disconnection of the anguish. I'm not disconnected from the person. I'm totally connected to them with this loving compassion, with this innocent awareness, the sacredness. And as I can perceive that sacred awareness and that sacred sense, then things can shift between us. Things can shift in the world. When we apply angst and anguish and anger at something, especially things that we have no control over, then we lose our way on the ascension path. It distracts us from the ascension path. So the ascension path is about being where we are and recognizing that and being true to that as best we can. and to let other people find their way without those attachments, without those burdensome experiences that we have. We get so spun up about the political stuff going on, don't we? Well, my responsibility is to vote. My responsibility is to sign petitions. My responsibility is to show up. But being furious with somebody who thinks differently than me is not part of the ascension path. Speaking about someone from a different political party with disdain is not a part of the ascension path. It is totally distracting us from the ascension path. You think there's disdain in the ethereal realms? No. Let go of the disdain here. It's not part of our journey. We like disdain because it fires us up and we feel empowered because we're right. Are we really? Are we really? The truth is, what's right is the truth in my heart and me living by that. That doesn't mean you living by my truth. It means me living by my truth. I have a couple of things from the ancient ones I want to read to you really quickly. Beth is collecting some more ancient ones for another volume. The first volume was Awakening. This one is going to be Ascension. So there's a couple of brief articles that they wrote that I would really channeled through me that I really think are powerful and address this situation. So from the ancient ones, this says, you are changing. The world in which you live is changing. People change. The dynamics between people shift and modify. The earth shifts. Your world redefines itself in many ways. Flexibility allows you to yield to these changes without changing your true self. Like wheat in the field yields to the breeze, but remains wheat. It's still wheat. It's always going to be wheat. Doesn't matter how hard the wind blows. I'm sorry, getting off, back to the ancient ones. Glowing, abundant, glowing, golden, abundant, and still wheat, no matter how often or how strong the wind might blow. Who are you really? If the winds of change frighten you, you have not yet claimed your true self. Perhaps you define yourself as a child of light, or the offspring of love, or a sacred being of light. What and how might you define your true self? The truth within. That's the key. A kind person, or perhaps the one who walks in faith? What words fit for you? Take time to consider this and claiming words that fit in describing your true self. This action anchors your soul into your true self and strengthens your awareness. This anchored awareness allows you to walk a path that is undisturbed by the passing winds of change, fear, doubt, distress, or dismay. The winds of change may change directions or they may change in intensity, but the knowing who you really are anchors your awareness and allows you to walk your path of ascension with greater ease and peace. When walking in this ascension energy, this expanded awareness, you find opportunities to grow, share, learn, assist, and be assisted. We bless you as you search and find your anchoring ascension truth. The steps you take today place you on an ascension path. You are ascending. We're ascending. Even when you feel as if you're going backwards, this is a merely perception of your mind looking at your growth from a physical or material perspective. If you feel as if you're going backwards, this is keen insight. Keen insight is a step forward spiritually. This insight means you know more now than you did just a little while ago. Each moment you are aware places your foot higher on the ascension plane. Baby steps allow a baby to learn to walk. Spiritual baby steps allow you the opportunity to learn to exist spiritually while walking a physical course. The goal here is not perfection, but rather perception. What do you perceive in this moment when you notice yourself? Do you perceive only the physical vehicle and its pain and discomfort of living? Do you perceive your goals and your dreams? Do you perceive your growth and your progress? Noticing yourself in this way, rather than discounting and condemning yourself, allows you to ascend further than before. This noticing is wisdom. With this wisdom, you can reach goals that otherwise would be unreachable. With this wisdom, doors open to assist you that otherwise would be closed. Notice this wisdom. Notice how it feels. This is the feeling of ascension. Follow that feeling and watch the world unfold for you. Watch your ascension path. We watch your ascension path and are honored to welcome you each step of the way. It's a step by step, a day by day, a minute by minute, a moment by moment, bringing ourselves out of reactionary life into awareness, into that innocent awareness, that sacred observer. We can do that. And in this journey of ascension, we let go. We let go of fear and we let go of trauma. We let go of dismay and distress. And we let go of any need to condemn or criticize another living being. We can do our part to make change happen. We can do our part to allow our wisdom to grow and expand. We can do our part to bless and be a blessing and to be blessed in return. And that's the path of ascension. That's the path that Jesus took. He didn't try to fix everything. He didn't try to change the world. He tried to empower each person so that they could change themselves. When it talks about him being ascended and lifted to the heavens and being at the right hand of God, that's a place of power. In times when there was kings, kingdoms, there would be the person that was sitting on the right hand of God, or the right hand of the king. Whatever wishes the king had, the person at the right hand had the power to make them happen. Now, this is not lording over us and having power over us. This is empowering us in our journey, our ascension path. If we are searching for a way to move forward in a higher, better way, that empowerment comes to us. That's a gift gifted to us. It comes in the form of grace and peace. If we reach for it, if we notice it, if we're the sacred observer and can allow it to be there for us. As we're connected in to this ascension spirit, this ascension awareness, then we're guided. We allow ourselves to be guided. When we're blinded by fury and blinded by disdain and we're blinded by disapproval, whether of ourselves or someone else or a situation, this pulls us off the ascension path. And yet here Jesus stands on the ascension path with his hand out going, did you forget who you were there for a minute? Welcome back. And will let us help us right back on that ascension path. And we can shift instantly back into that clarity, back into that empowered state of being where we can move forward and we can make a change in the world. We can make a difference in the world. When we do that by making a change within and making a difference in ourselves, by living true to that truth within. That makes sense? I hope that blesses you. I hope that those thoughts will bless you. I have a guided meditation for you. Mr. Phil, I think I forgot to do communion again. You want to do that while I do the guided meditation, and then we'll do the communion after that? Silly me. I mentioned it, didn't I?
What?
Communion?
Oh.
That I forgot to do it?
Uh-huh. You want me to go do it?
Would you?
Okay. And I've noticed that it appears that the video is not high quality. I don't know why. So we'll have to work on it again.
There it is. So let's do a guided meditation, shall we? This guided meditation is going to take us to, last week we went to a warehouse. This time we're going to go to a storage unit. Okay, but let's do a little bit of clearing and centering before we do that. So I'd like you just to take a deep breath in and just settle into your body. Not settle as in not good enough or whatever, but just to center and to feel yourself in your physical form. Because as you feel yourself in your physical form, then we're going to take a bit of a journey out of the physical form into our awareness, into our imagination. And that imagination takes us into a place where spirit can communicate with us and give us guidance and insights. So allowing that centering, just bring your awareness into the core of your being. And just relax your shoulders and relax your body. And as you have a sense of your physical form, excuse me, notice now the bottoms of your feet. And the bottoms of your feet, there are little portals. And if you hold them in your awareness, they'll just open like the eye of a camera. And as they open, this allows any dense energy, unwanted energy, to drain out the bottoms of your feet. And it can just flow into the earth. It's just energy. When it's attached to us, we have an awareness attachment to it. We have a conceptual attachment to it. Like, that person did this wrong thing to me. And so then I have to hold that grudge and hold that anger, hold that pain, that sorrow. It's just energy. And when we disassociate from that, when we allow that to release, when we let that go and that falls away, it's just energy and it just falls away from us. It's not harmful. And the earth just absorbs that and then transmutes that and can release it back for use elsewhere. So just let it go. Any of that anguish that you might be feeling, any fear that you might be feeling, it's time to let it go. It's time to let it go. You can. Your ascension path leads you away from fear. It leads you away from that sorrow. It leads you away from that pain. So as you can let that go, in whatever part of your body it may be residing, whether it's in your mind or your heart or your guts or another shoulders, maybe there's pain or something in your body that's associated with that old pain. As you can let that go, it'll just fall out the bottoms of your feet because it's heavy energy. It's not ascension energy. And as that falls away from you, you feel lighter, brighter, and clearer. And as that continues to activate, bring your attention now to your heart space. And notice that your heart space feels more open, feels clearer and brighter. And now bring your attention to the top of your head. There's an energy portal there, right at the very top of your head. And as you're aware of that, that's always connected to spirit. That's always connected to divine source, whatever that is for you. If you bring your attention there, then that expands, that awareness intensifies and increases. So as you allow yourself to notice that and notice that expansion, you'll notice that there's a lot of energy portals over your head, and they connect to specific energies that might be right for you right now. So maybe your attention is drawn to the crystalline energy portal, or maybe it's drawn to the blue portal, or the golden portal, or the yellow portal, or the copper portal, or the silver portal. Whatever you're drawn to is what is right for you today. And as you connect in with that, with your noticing, then that energy is activated. It's been held in reserve for you for when you are ready. And now that you have let go of so much stuff that is not on your ascension path and you're stepping into your ascension path more clearly, this energy now flows clearly into your mind. And it touches your mind and clears your perceptions, clears your awareness. It'll touch your third eye and your discernment centers, and the occipital lobe centers. It touches that and allows your perceptions now to perceive more clearly this ascension path for yourself, and allows you to see more clearly when you step off that ascension path. And allow that now to touch your ears and your mouth, your throat. This is your communication centers. Allow that ascension energy to touch those, so that when you hear someone else speaking something that you disagree with, you will know whether to set a boundary or to just let it be. You're not going to change their mind, just let it be. You'll know. And if you do speak, you'll be able to speak with grace, and not with anger, not with frustration, not with disdain, but with grace. To clarify who you are to that other person. Letting more of that ascension energy fill into your shoulders, down your arms, into your hands. Let it flow into your torso, touching every cell, every organ, every system. Let it even go down into the cells, even between the cells, so that you're wrapped in this living light of love, this ascension energy. Let it flow into your legs and down into your feet, and then gently close the bottoms of your feet, those portals. And as they close, then you become a vessel of light. So more and more of this light is flowing in and is filling your energy field, your body, and the energy field that surrounds you. This is activating within you and within your energy field the ability to draw to you the things that are resonant to you that bless you. Whether it's abundance or peace, or friends that have the same harmonic with you, allow that to filter out and harmonize and bless. Now, as we're filled with this ascension energy, let's take a little walk in our mind's eye. You can close your eyes if you haven't already done so. And then allow yourself to find your way to a huge place that has gazillion storage units. And you have a place here. You have a storage unit here. And we're going to find that storage unit, and there's things we're going to do in there. So as you look for your storage unit, you will just intuitively know which one is yours. And you find yourself in front of that storage unit. And I want you to notice that there's a lock here. And notice whether your lock is a padlock or if it's a combination lock. So either something with a key or something that you punch in a code. Either way, however that looks for you. And notice that whatever you choose or whatever you perceive or whatever you notice may have spiritual significance for you. So as you unlock this and set the lock aside, and you open this storage unit, notice whether your storage unit feels empty or if it's crammed. Does it feel empty or does it feel full? Whichever, there's no right, no wrong. Just know that whatever you're experiencing may have spiritual significance for you. Now, as you're looking at this storage unit, if it's nearly empty, that's fine. If it's really full, that's fine. Notice, is it organized or is it kind of chaotic? Is it just a little bit of this and a little bit of that everywhere? Just notice that. That may have spiritual significance for you. And notice now that you're going to take you're going to take an item from here. One of these 3 items is something you're going to claim from here. Do you claim a radio or a phonograph? It's old, none of us have any of that anymore. It's probably been stored for a while. A radio or a phonograph, a toolbox, or a Tiffany lamp? Which do you pull out of the storage unit? Do you pull out a radio or phonograph, a toolbox, or a Tiffany lamp? Now, as you're looking further at this storage unit, you'll notice that there has been a table set up, and there's 3 items on the table, and you get to choose one of these 3 items. One of the items is a bag of old clothes. Another is a box of miscellaneous jumbled up tools. Some of it's gardening tools and some of it's kitchen tools. It's just a whole hodgepodge of just miscellaneous tools. And then the third one is a box of photographs. So which one do you choose of those 3? The bag of old clothes, the box of miscellaneous tools, or a box of photographs? So you take those with you, one of those with you. So you've taken one of the other 3 that we suggested earlier, or one of these 3 that were on the table. And then it's time for us to step away from the storage unit. So close the door. And this time we're going to close the door, and a new lock has been installed for you. So that this time, when you come back to the storage unit, you can come back at any time, because sometimes there's things here that you could use, and sometimes there's things here that you just want to keep away from you. They don't have any value for you anymore. But on this storage unit, we're going to have a new form of lock, and this one will recognize you. So whether it's facial recognition or a thumbprint, either way, some sort of recognition, but not a padlock or a combination lock. So as you put your new lock on and you step away from your storage unit, and you have 2 items with you. One of the items from the table is an item that you're going to throw into the trash. So which do you throw away? Whatever you took off the table is something that's going to go in the trash. Now you're going to have some resistance to that. Oh, I had it in storage. It has value to me. Whether you picked the old clothes, the miscellaneous tools, or the photographs, it's time to let them go. There's spiritual significance to them, and I'll share that with you in a moment. But for now, whatever you chose off the table, there's an energy attachment to that you're now ready to release. So you can release that freely and just leave it here in the recycle bin or the storage bin or the toss away bin. Let it go. And allow yourself to walk away from that storage unit, back into this time and space, back into the here and now. And I'm going to let you be with that just for a minute. We'll do communion, and then after communion, we'll take a look at your results and the spiritual significance of those things that were selected, right? So Mr. Phil, if you would join me, please. Mr. Phil! Here he comes. He's in the back. I don't know how we're going to do communion when we go back to the real world.
I know.
I think we may have to do imaginary communion then too.
Well, I got half a dozen responses on the video quality, and all but one said it was fine.
Oh.
So, which means it is coming out of here fine.
Okay.
So, but mine's all, so it's either coming back from Facebook, screwing it up or whatever. But if people are seeing it clear, then there's nothing wrong with our transmission or our video.
Okay. Well, here's hoping.
Yeah.
Here's hoping.
All right.
Okay.
Why are we doing this?
Gluten-free.
No, just
Communion.
communion in general.
I'm getting to that.
Oh, okay.
So communion, this is the symbolic representation of Jesus on his ascension path. So this is about claiming it, taking it in, ingesting the concepts of walking your truth and walking in love and light at all times. Never once did Jesus do anything out of ego or fear or response in that way, reaction. He walked the sacred path that we get to walk, that we're attempting to walk. So with that, we take this and we ingest it. We allow ourselves to connect with that, and it supports us on our journey. So would you join us in prayer?
And
Yes.
if the only thing you can say is, hey, he was a pretty cool dude and he's the leader of my pack, that's good enough.
Works for me. Join us in prayer. Loving Spirit of light, as we take this in, help us to walk our path of ascension. Help us to walk with grace, compassion, joy, and peace. Help us to return to that path should we vary or get drawn away by life circumstances. Walk with us in all things. These things we pray in the name of Jesus. Amen.
Amen.
I didn't know stale could get staler.
Can. We haven't replenished our supplies since all of this started. And it was old then.
We might want to take a trip to the building. All right. So the grape juice is significant of Jesus' blood. So that blood coursing through his body was about that lifeblood of loving life, loving everything about life, taking it on, being in the moment. So with that, join me in prayer. Loving Spirit of light, as we drink this in, help us to drink in life, all of it. Help us to drink it in with awareness as the sacred observer. Help us to drink it in with grace. Bless us in the name of Jesus. Amen. Thank you, Mr. Phil.
Mhm. Now what?
Now I'm going to
Since you
see
already
if,
did the,
I'm going to see if anybody has any questions on their
okay, let me go back,
guided meditation. I'm going to give you
turn your
Input.
phone on.
as far as you want to just text me or just not text me, but call me.
Right, that's what I said. Turn your phone on.
That doesn't do it, dear. Not turn it on. Turn on the intercom. There we are. That was it. So technical stuff. Okay, so the first thing we did when we got to the storage facility was to unlock. So if your storage facility, storage space was locked with a padlock, it might mean to you that sometimes you look for outside validation rather than self-awareness in your journey. You might want to take a look at that. Outside validation. If it was a combination lock, you might be holding on to old memories or old trauma that you're ready to let go of to free up some memory space. Okay. Was your storage unit full or was it mostly empty? If it was full, you're ready to receive more. And if it was empty, no, I've got those backwards. If it was full, you're ready to share what you know. If it was empty, you're ready to receive more, or nearly empty. You're ready to receive more. More insights, more direction, more guidance, more development. You're just ready to get more, bring more on. Was it organized or was it just kind of hodgepodge in there? If it was organized, then you having a routine or pattern for accessing spiritual insight could be helpful. So in other words, if you would meditate, pray, read spiritual stuff, or to access your spiritual insights, that would be really helpful for you. That it helps you to have a pattern, like every day at the same time, having time to connect with spirit. That would really be helpful for you. If it was crammed or chaotic, then whatever you need is accessible when you need it, that you can access it effortlessly. But here's the key. The key is to access it more. You're ready to take advantage of that and access it more. So using your spiritual tools to do that. So ask for guidance. And as you ask for that guidance. It will be gifted to you in the moment. Again, if it was organized, it's time for you to set aside a way of being organized in your spiritual life, because that's going to help you set up some spiritual patterns that are going to bless you and make access more easy. Easy is good. Then we had three things, one of which you could receive that was being gifted to you, or you were taking out of here. The radio or phonograph, if you picked up the radio or phonograph, this is new ascension frequency to help you release negative attachments and responses. So you're being dialed in to a new frequency. So notice that it's going to feel a little different for you maybe, and that's okay. Just pay attention to that the old patterns and things are going to feel off to you. And the new patterns of the peace and joy and gratitude and all those things on the ascension journey, are going to feel much better to you. And it's going to be easier for you. If you received, or picked up the toolbox, new techniques for divination or spiritual insight are going to be gifted to you, are going to be brought to your attention. So there's new things for you to learn, and they're coming your way. So be prepared for that. You're ready to receive that new information. If you selected the Tiffany lamp, this is awareness of creativity and expression is part of your journey. So it's really going to be important for you to find creative expressions for yourself, as being in that creative energy allows you to transcend time and space, which is all part of this ascension journey. When we're busy being creative, doing some artwork or some creative thing, we lose track of time. We have no idea what time it is. Oh, it feels like hours have gone by and it's been 10 minutes. Or it feels like 10 minutes has gone by and it's really been hours. So that's letting you know you're on par with this ascension path. That's that creative energy. You can't be creative all the time. There's other things that we have to do that require us to be mindful in the day-to-day life, and that's okay. But just know that this timeless energy can be brought into all of that. Make sense? Now, the three things, there were three things on a table, and you were going to select one, and then later we were going to toss it. Okay, recycle it or throw it away. So if you chose the bag of old clothes, this is letting you know that your old identity, you're ready to let it go. Your old sense of worth. I'm only worthy if I do 50,000 things of work every day. No, that's not where your worth lies. Your worth lies in being true to yourself and being kind and compassionate. And so you're realigning your worth, and moving out of deserving. I did this, so I deserve that. I deserve to be treated this way, or I deserve this punishment, or I deserve that reward. No, you're worthy of being good to yourself and being good to the world, because that's who you are. If you received or you picked up the box of miscellaneous tools, we're all jumbled up, you're going to release old patterns of reaction. This is powerful, because sometimes things come at us and we don't even get a chance to think, we just react. And so by releasing this and letting that go allows us to move into a state of conscious awareness more clearly, more often. So this is helping you do that. So this is helping you release those old patterns. The box of photographs relate to old perceptions. How do you perceive yourself? How do you perceive the world? How do you perceive other people's actions? Are people there to pick on you? No, they're just walking their path. Right, wrong, good, or bad. Maybe they're not doing it very well, but it's not a direct influence upon you. So it's shifting your perceptions about the world and whether the world is a safe place or not, or the world is out to get you or not. This is shifting those perceptions and putting you in alignment on that ascension path where it is what it is, and you're here to do what you came here to do. And you'll find that out. You'll find your destiny. You'll figure that out. And then the very last thing was changing the lock. By the way, when you threw things away, did you have a lot of resistance to that, or could you just chuck it? I don't need that anymore. For me, it was the photographs, and I had a lot of resistance to check on that because it's like, oh, I don't know any of these people in these photographs. They're, you know, ancestors that have come and gone, relative. I don't know who they are, but I was reluctant to let go of them. And knowing that I was reluctant to let go of their perceptions helps me to be aware of the fact that I worked really hard at trying to perceive things from a new way rather than what my family has always done. So by letting that go, this really freed me up a lot. And being able to just walk my path, doesn't matter if other people approve of me or not, even dead ancestors. Make sense? So is there anybody have any questions or anything new that showed up? Let me see if there's anything else on my notes.
Yeah. First, we have Mark from over at Clarkson on
Hey,
the
Mark.
border of Washington and Idaho.
Uh-huh.
Tom, he's got kind of an engaged one here, so I don't know. Do you want me to? I'll just go through it real quick,
Yeah.
and I'll just do half and stop at that point and go on later. Creamy orange energy light. Storage unit had a 27 on it.
Okay.
Silver lock with a key.
Okay.
And first item was a photograph. Second, a box of photographs.
Photograph.
Photographs.
Okay. So the first one, the option was a radio or phonograph, and the second option was photographs. So there was two difference there.
Gotcha. Okay,
So
I thought you did cover that. So I guess it's the creamy orange energy light, storage unit with number 27, and silver lock with a key.
Okay, so the creamy orange, this orange color is about pretty much your second chakra, which is about feeling your tribe, feeling safe in your family, creating new family for yourself. Where do you feel safe? Your family isn't necessarily the people that you were born into. It can be the family of people that are like-minded. But feeling safe and feeling secure in that, and having that, knowing that you're accepted and received into that. Does that make sense to you? The 27, numerologically, you might want to look up what the number 27 might mean for you. 2 and 7 make 9. 9 is the end of a cycle. So you're coming through, you've learned what you needed to learn about something, and you're breaking free. So that sets you up for this whole new journey. So whole new awakening, whole new other steps. So things are going to be very different from you now than they were in the past, especially if this is tribal energy, back to your tribe, and you're going to create for yourself your own sense of safety in your own world. Does that make sense? And I think I covered the rest of those items on there.
The last part of that was a new lock was a solid gold with a big ruby, and it recognized his hands to reopen.
Okay, so solid gold. This is about knowing your worth. You're solid gold. You're strong. You're powerful. And no other person's opinion has the right to diminish that. And the ruby is a kind of power on top of power. So this ruby is this powerful energy of passion for your life. So this is taking on a whole new you. So bless you in that journey. This is really big stuff. This is really big stuff. So take that on and recognize the truth of who you are, and associate with others who can recognize the truth of who you are, and let anyone else's opinion fade in the distance. That make sense? I hope that's helpful for you. Thanks for tuning in, Mark. What else, Mr. Phil?
Well, so apparently Lori has a house that's on fire in her neighborhood. So
Oh, my goodness.
Total loss, so that's a shame.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
I know. Shannon said, what happens if your storage unit is not overly full, but not empty?
Okay, so you're kind of halfway between here. So this is letting you know, so if it's full, that means you're ready to receive, or If it's empty, you're ready to receive more. And if it was full, you're ready to share. So you're ready to receive more and you're ready to share, which you are, Shannon. Make sense?
Let's just do one more. We've got quite a few that you could probably answer directly just because we're running a little low on time. Marianne said her shed was dusty and had cobwebs, and her lock was a deadlock inlaid and had lots of spiders.
Ew, spiders. Well, the energy of spiders isn't negative, isn't bad. The cobwebs are creepy and we don't like them, but the energy of the spider is making connections. So you've made connections in the past. You can utilize those if you want to, and you can create more connections if you'd like. So this is about making those connections and making the connections you've already made work for you. Does that make sense? So networking is really important for you and is going to be vital for the next phase of your spiritual journey. Creepy, but true. So apparently that's I'll get to anybody else that's online. If you leave your comments, I usually spend an hour or two after services and go back through those and get them for you.
That, of course, that's assuming that thing right there is not bugging her. How
Oh,
do you
the
do that?
dog
The
thing?
dog. It's the dog.
The dog thing?
I have a problem. Everything's backwards.
Everything's
and there's
backwards. This is just the creepiest thing in the whole world, doing everything weird. Okay, so we're going to try something different we haven't done for a while. Have not done in the
We are?
home.
We are?
Yes.
Okay.
So we talked about this, the energy circle.
Oh, yeah. That was a couple days ago. I don't remember these things.
I don't know. So we at church, we'll get up and we circle around the perimeter of the sanctuary, and then we hold our left hand. This is my left hand, but that looks like you're right. But left hand up and right hand down, and you hover. Hover. He's usually in the back, so he doesn't usually get to do this. Let's put these so we can see them. And just hover. So you're still connected in. Oh, wow. Can you feel that? So we're connected with our heart. And so we might possibly.
Shoulda, coulda, woulda.
Shoulda, coulda, woulda, oughta, gotta, must, have to, always, and never. There's a real big possibility that we'll feel that energy even now. And if you're only with yourself, do this. Giving and receiving. This allows that energy to flow from you back to you, but you'll connect into this ascension energy that we're sharing with one another. So just allow that energy to flow, bringing it in from that higher source, whatever that is for you. So you're going to give with your left and receive from the right?
Sure.
Right hand up, left hand down, and backwards. See, I'm backwards on the stupid thing. No wonder it didn't feel right. There we go. Left hand up, right hand down. Left hand, wait.
It's
What am I
been too
doing?
long.
It's been too long.
It's been too long.
Hold on just a second.
Left hand up.
Left hand up, right hand down. There we go.
You were right at the
I was
start.
right at first. I just got myself confused. That never happens to you, I'm sure. So being aware of that living light of love that already was flowing in, letting it flow into your body, out your left hand, you're going to give that to the person there, and then receive from the right. So drawing that energy in. So there's a give and a take, because that's what love is all about. It's an equal measure of giving and receiving. Okay, can you feel that?
Mm-hmm.
And now there may be someone in your circle of influence that could use prayers or healing or comfort, like Lori's neighbor whose house burned down. Let's just hold them in our awareness. Energy doesn't know time or space, so they could receive this energy to bless and support them in this difficult time. There may be someone in your circle of influence that is not well. Maybe they're experiencing difficulties. Dog. In a minute. Thank you. Leave it.
Hey.
Okay.
That's right.
Get a hold of her. Yeah. All right. So then take a deep breath. Exhale and release them. Shh, shh, shh. Come here. Right here. Shh. Bringing fresh energy in, giving with the left, receiving from the right, allowing that energy to build. Both hands up, receiving all the energy you would like to take with you into this next week. Bring it into your heart space. Ruff, ruff, ruff. Got a hold of her?